I think I'm live. I'm not sure because I'm trying a new streaming system, but hopefully it works. Let's find out. See if I'm live. I don't even see my chat. Hello. How is everybody doing tonight? We are back on YouTube and Blender and ComfyUI and all the things. And I'm just stalling while I check to see if my thingy's actually connected. Seems like I am maybe connected, but it's not the scheduled stream. Well, that's odd. Well, we'll have to play with this later, but it seems I am live on YouTube. Hello, everyone. I don't know if it's working, but I guess it's working. All right, let's get started. Where's OBS? Hello. Okay, so that I don't think it actually worked with my scheduled stream. I think this is actually not the scheduled stream, but I'll have to fix that later. Welcome. How's everybody doing? We are back in Blender as always, and well, we're not back in Blender yet. One sec. Now we're back in Blender. Yeah. Blender. I'll be using Blender tonight and making some masks and stuff, and then we're going to use those masks to make some animations. We've done this a bunch of times, but yeah, we're going to do it again. And I'm going to try and go a little slower with the Blender stuff, and then we're going to build the interface in ComfyUI for using the masks that we make in Blender. All right, let's get kicking. So here we are in Blender. I think we're going to start with 2D planes, do shaders on those, and then if we're feeling frisky, maybe we'll do 3D meshes and make masks out of that. But let's start with shaders on a plane. It's kind of like snakes on a plane, but not exactly like snakes on a plane. We've got a plane. It's a plane. The plane is great. What a great plane. To do that, I said Shift A, mesh, add mesh, plane. And the plane is just a flat surface that we can put a shader on. So we're going to point our camera down, like above it and down. So we're just going to change all the values in the camera to 0. And that'll sort of put it in the world origin. And we're just going to pull it up on the Z-axis until maybe, I don't know, 4 meters above the image. And then we're going to look through the camera. And now we're looking down at our screen. So this is basically what we want. But we're going to do a couple things to make it fit exactly. We're going to switch the camera to orthographic, and we're going to set the orthographic scale to 2. And that, with this camera above the plane and the orthographic scale of 2 with a 1 meter by 1 meter plane, you get a perfect aspect ratio on the shader, on the plane. So when that is happening, we can then just set our resolution 1024 by 1024, and that's actually going to be a perfect square for the window with everything on the inside, which is awesome. We're going to go to shaders and add one on the plane. And the shaders is this little red thing down here, material. Add a new shader. And we're going to make it an emission shader, not a principled shader, because we don't need light to bounce off this thing. We're going to use it as light. So let's go to rendered mode. That's up here on the right. And we're going to get rid of... Can't wait to get rid of those notifications. All right. Okay, so a couple things to make this more legible. We're going to turn the color of the world. So that's the world shader here. We're turn the color of the world to black. And we're going to turn off all the sort of stuff around the plane so that we can just look down on it and just see what we're working on. So let's drag this over to the right a bit. There we go. And then we have this window where we're going to open up our shader editor. So we have, this is the shader. It's just an emission and material output. And we're going to work from there. So we got our square and we got our shader, and we're going to start making a cool mask. So one of the easiest, fastest things you can do is just create a wave texture and plug that into plug the color into the factor. You don't really the factor into the color, but we're going to actually drop a color ramp in between. To bring up that menu, it's Shift A, and then you can either search or just go to it if you know where the node is. This color ramp is like a clamp that we can use to determine what the colors do, what the texture does throughout our colors. In linear mode, you actually get a gradient, which is good if we want to do depth maps for Comfy. But today we're actually going to start with constant, which is, instead of linear, we switch it to constant, and then we're going to get hard breaks in the lines because we're going to use the animate diff ControlNet to start. We can go back in and render depth versions of these once we make them, but for now they're just all right. It sucks that my other stream is fat, but whatever. We'll power through. All right, phase offset. Okay, so to animate a wave texture over the course of an animation, I'm going to go with 280 frames. And I'm going to animate it going twice over the course of the animation. So to go to animate a wave texture over the course of an animation, you want to go from 0 to tau on the phase offset. So we'll hit I on, make sure it's on frame 1. Hit I on the phase offset to make it a keyframe, and then go to the very end of your animation. 200 frame, go 1 frame past by hitting the right arrow key, so that we're actually 281 frames, and you just set that to negative tau times 2. In this case, I'm doing it times 2 because I want it to loop twice throughout the animation, and I'll explain why in a minute. Tau, negative tau times 2. All right, then you hit I on that frame to lock it in. Okay, and I think I just hit a button. I think I hit the P button, which made it preview. So let's plug the node group back in properly. Okay, so now this animation, through over the course of the animation, should loop perfectly. So now we can adjust any of the things in the like any of these, and they will this loop will always be perfect. So now we can plug different textures into this wave texture and make ourselves some really cool stuff. So this, as you can see, this animation is actually looping perfectly. Let's go with 1. So that's just the scale of it. If you don't have Node Wrangler installed in Blender, go to Preferences and go to Node Wrangler and add that in the add-ons. It's already built into Blender. You just have to enable it. Once you have that enabled, you can hit Control-T on a texture, and it'll create a texture coordinate and a mapping node. And this is what we need to make sure that our textures start at the center of our mesh instead of the edge of our mesh. I'll show you what that means with the Z. See how the rings start in the center of the image? That's what we want. When you don't have texture coordinate, like object texture coordinate through a mapping, it actually starts in the bottom left corner. So if we want which is fine too, but if we want our animations to be centered, we have to make sure it's in the object settings. One other thing for setup is in the render settings, go down to color management and change it from AGX to standard. And that will make it actually go 0 to 1, black to white. In AGX mode, the whites are sort of dimmed a bit. It's like a color map or whatever. It's for more like when you have natural light in a scene and you don't want the whites to be white because nothing on Earth is like properly white. There's always a bit of grayness to it. But here we want 0 to 1. We want black to white. Switch your color mode to standard, and then we're back to thing here. So these are my settings for the wave texture if you want to follow along and do the exact same thing I'm doing. Here, let me zoom in real good on this so you can get a screenshot. I hate it when Blender YouTubers don't let you get a good screenshot of the thing we're working on. So there you go. I'll leave that up for a second. Yeah, grab a screenshot and then throw it in another browser and copy it over. Right. So what we want to do with this now is start plugging other textures in to disrupt the wave texture to make it look cooler. So let's grab the nodes after it and move them over to the right a bit. Create a new node called a math node. And you plug that in between here. You can just drop nodes right on the noodles and it will route them through. So now I made everything disappear because the math node is adding 0.5 to everything here. So if we go down, you'll see we're adding to the texture and removing it. When we add to a black and white texture, it turns white. When we subtract from a black and white texture, it turns black. What we want to do is add in a different texture. So let's add in a Voronoi texture and see what that does. And let's give it the same mapping. Now we got these cool little bubbles because a Voronoi texture is it looks kind of like cells. It looks kind of like, looks kind of like cells. I don't really know how else to describe it. There's a few things you can do. If you switch to smooth at F1, it takes a little longer to calculate, but you get much smoother bubbles. If I pass this, let's remove the math node and we'll just plug this straight in here. So now we're just looking at the Voronoi texture through all this, through the color ramp. So we can see it's the black and white. So that's what a Voronoi texture looks like. That's randomized. If you unrandomize it, you see it's just a grid of circles. And then you randomize it and turn it into goo. You can increase the scale, decrease the scale, do all that fun stuff. But then when it's plugged together into here, we get an actual connected animation. This is how I do a lot of my masking, is just plugging stuff in and seeing what looks cool, trying to figure out why it looks cool, see what I can do to make it look better or worse, and move on from there. Yeah, and you can just play with all these because our phase offset is looping. Everything we plug in here, everything we do here is always going to loop because this loops. If we were to do some sort of animation on the Voronoi as well, you would have to have it in unrandom mode, and you would have to make sure that that animation is also perfect by maybe dragging it across the x-axis or doing something else. You'd have to disconnect it from the texture so that you can move it without it affecting the other one. So you'd have to set up a second mapping, which is really easy. You literally just take the same texture coordinate, you set up a second mapping node underneath it, right? Send our object texture through both of them, and then we send them out to separate devices. And what this can do is, instead of the mapping controlling both textures, they can only control one texture, which means you can get some really neat parallax effects by just having one texture dragging over another one. So like, what's a good example? Yeah, that's a pretty good example. Now the wave is moving through the Voronoi texture. So you get all these cool little like logic gate looking things. And you can change all these and all the they all do different things. They all look different. If you want to see what they look like without any of the stuff, you can just preview the node by unplugging or just plugging it straight into the color ramp. And then we can just, when you play with it, it'll show you what it's doing. 3 noise, randomize, smoothness, play with it, find out what they do, and then do stuff with them. So let's make some cool stuff. Get rid of the Voronoi. Let's plug this back in. We got our little thing. I'm actually going to use Y, I think. I want it to be like opening. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah. So let's see what happens when we add another wave texture with these similar settings, but let's go rings X. So vector factor to math. Oh, that's interesting. And now we can move this one as well so that we have two textures moving together and doing different things, which is kind of cool. So let's try that. Let's start here on the first frame, hit I on the phase offset, go to the final frame, move one past, and then negative tau times 2, I. So now our texture is moving in two different directions. It's moving up and down and left and right. So you can play with these values and, get all kinds of different results. That one's kind of cool, actually. Yeah, I like that. And don't be afraid to try different math modes. They do different things, especially divide. Divide can get you some really, 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 really cool results. Actually, I think this one might be a winner, actually. So yeah, you see how this color ramp, you can use it to dial in how much color you want on each sort of, section. And if you're not making masks, you can add other colors to the mix too. So this is how we make procedural shaders. They're just, this is a super simplified version for what we're working with. We're making masks. Because all we want to do is tell Comfy to change different stuff on the black stuff and different stuff on the white stuff. So all we need here are just cool looking masks that do neat stuff that have cool motion. And then Comfy's going to handle the rest. So let's try this one. I think this one's going to actually look pretty cool. So let's go to the output settings. I put mine in my temp folder. You can put yours wherever you like. We'll call this Comfy Mask 1. And I'll save it as a PNG sequence because it's easier to work with. All right. And we're rendering. To render, I just went render animation. And yeah, if I'm going too fast or you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, please ask in the chat because sometimes I just gloss over things I've done a million times. And it would be more helpful if I told you everything, but I forget. All right. If I look at my temp folder under my Comfy Mask 1 folder, we've got a folder full of PNGs. And if we view them, we got an animation. And that animation loops. It also loops twice, which means When I'm doing iteration, I don't need to do all 280 frames, right? I only have to do half of the frames. Then I can only do half the frames at double speed, and all of a sudden I only have to do a quarter of the frames that I had to do otherwise. And this matters when you're doing AI stuff, because the more frames you have to do, the exponentially longer it takes to render your animations. Well, not exponentially, but longer it takes, because you just, every frame takes. We're going to save this as YouTube textures 2024-01 26. That's today. Okay, cool. And let's get Comfy going. Comfy AI, Comfy, load it up. I'm not already running, right? Okay, we're starting up ComfyUI. Hey, history is absurd. What's up, Christopher? What's up, Corey? What's up, Andreas? What's up, Dan Vaman? Yeah, sorry it's not on the right scheduled thing today. It's my first stream with Restream, so we're trying it out. Should be streaming in many different places tonight. Unfortunately, for my YouTube, it's not in the right YouTube video, but I'll fix up the descriptions and try to get it into the right playlist tomorrow. And yeah, hopefully it'll just work out. I think it's because I had another scheduled YouTube thing in there from before. So hopefully I can remove that, and then it'll just work going forward, hopefully. Okay, there's Insight Face crashing again. Someday I'll figure that out. I think Comfy's alive. Comfy. Yay! All right, let's do new prompt clear. Okay. All right, let's start fresh. Here we are in ComfyUI. Okay, sampler. So we have our mask. We're going to do animate diff animations. How do we do animate diff animations? We make an animate diff workflow. You don't have to make one every single time if you don't want to. You can just download one of mine, or download one off of Banadoko, or download one off of comfyworkflows.com. One of the nicest parts about Comfy is the way it's modular and the way you can just plug stuff in and make it work and all that stuff. So yeah, you do not have to make this all yourself if you don't want to. I'm just doing this so you understand what the workflow is and how it operates. All right. So VAE decode. Let me explain this. Okay, so we got K-sampler is our diffusion process. This is the heart of it. This is the middle of the sandwich, so to speak. We need to decode what we make into an image, and in this case, we're going to make it into a video. So we want the video combine node for that, which is in the video helper suite. So let's change this to 24 frames per second. Put it in. 12. We'll do this one 12. Put it in 12 frames per second and make diff. And we'll do an MP4. And then I'm also going to add a film interpolation node and make a smoother version of this animation. Copy and paste the video combine node, drag that in 24 frames per second. We'll say film 2x. So the reason I'm putting them in folders like this is so that when we look at our Comfy outputs folder, it's not just one giant folder full of images. We have, some separation here so our brains don't explode. All right. Film. That's probably fine for now. Okay, so those are our two outputs. So 12 frame per second sort of source video, and this is a 24 frame per second interpolated video, which is 2 times slowed down, but it'll be nice and smooth. So, all right. That's the backside. This is the output of our model, but we need to do the input now. So let's start with the checkpoint loader, which is checkpoint loader simple. We're going to load up Dream Shaper, I guess. Our clip, this is our prompt. So we go drag out a clip and go into clip text encode. So we're going to make a positive and negative prompt here. Positive, negative. Clip goes into both. Conditioning A goes into positive. Conditioning B goes into negative, right? So let's right click here, colors green, right click here, colors red. That way we know this is our positive prompt. This is our negative prompt. That's our, this is our checkpoint loader. That's the K-sampler. VAE decode. We are actually nearly finished for just a general input. Next thing we have to do is add the empty latent image, or the space, the canvas in which we're diffusing in. So let's do that. Empty latent image. For this one, 512 by 512 is fine. And actually, the batch size, we're going to talk about it in a second when I load up ControlNet. Okay. So right now, this will make an image, but we need to make an animation. So we're going to add animate diff. which is the animate diff loader with context. And we're drag out of context options and add an animate diff uniform context options node. All right. These two nodes will allow us to make animations out of what we're making. And the model is actually goes through the model. So model into the front, then a model comes out of here into the K sampler. All right. Yep, that's it. So we are now animate diffed up. This will do animate diff stuff. But the other thing we want to do is add ControlNet so that the mask that we made does something. So let's add a ControlNet apply advanced node. Out of the ControlNet, we're going to add a ControlNet loader advanced. And I'm going to choose the loose control ControlNet. This is the one I'm going to be using tonight. I really like it. It's weird. It's cool. I like it. Conditioning, just like we went through the model, the conditioning goes through ControlNet. And you have to do this correctly or else we'll see what just happened there. When I plug this in wrong, now my negative would be going to my positive, which means this would be the positive prompt, which is not what you want. So let's eyeball this. See, I've got negative going to both. Not good. Not good. Positive to positive, negative to negative, positive to positive, negative to negative. This is the way right here. The other thing we need to do is load a video and pre-process it. So we're going to use the VHS load video or load images path. Because I recorded a PNG sequence for the animation, we can use this. So I'll go to my folder, find the folder, Comfy mask 1, copy the path, just paste it in the top. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell it to load. So I just have to do a little bit of math here. I want it to go twice as fast, and I only want to load half of the frames. So half the frames at twice the speed is actually a quarter of the frames. So 280 divided by 4 is 70. So I want to generate 70 frames. So I want to make the image load cap 70. So it's going to go through, load 70 images at twice the speed. Okay. What are we going to do with those images? We're going to turn them into nothing because we don't need to pre-process them for this ControlNet because they're already black and white masks. So image goes to image in ControlNet. And this integer here that comes out of load images, this is the integer that tells you how many images there are, which is what we need for batch size, right? So let's remove batch size here and change it to an input. So you right click on the node, change batch size to input. Then we drag this integer and plug it into the batch size. So now it knows when it generates the video, the size of the video will be the amount of frames that we're pulling into control. And the other thing we can do is take this image out, add another VHS video combine. But on this one, we can turn the output off so it doesn't actually save the outputs, just so we can visualize what we're putting in here. So we'll go 24 frames per second. We'll say source, animate diff. Fine. Doesn't matter because it's not getting recorded. It's not getting saved, so who cares? All right. Video combine, ControlNet. Okay. If I'm right, this should just work. So let's try waves crashing against a beautiful beach at sunset. Miami Beach. Beautiful Miami Beach at sunset. So 70 frames. Dream Shaper 2, 512 by 512. ControlNet's at 100%. And I didn't plug the VAE decoder. So that's what it's going to make. And let's start color coding while it's running. So load checkpoint can be green. Actually, I usually make you guys animate diff. I tend to make yellow because it sort of like ControlNet. ControlNet's yellow because it happens on the clip. Empty latent image will make green because it's a setting. Video combine is an image thing, which makes it blue. Load images is an image thing, which makes it blue. K sampler is purple. Video combined outputs are blue because they're image based, and image processing I usually make cyan. So yeah, let's move this stuff out a little bit more so it makes a little more sense and you can see it better on the screen. Why are you not? Oh, because I pinned you or something? Oh, okay. Don't pin nodes if you don't want to because they get sticky. Okay. Image, ControlNet, make it more legible. Okay. Yeah, that's basically it. So that's the whole setup. Let me try. It's hard to get it all on the screen so you can get a good screenshot of it. But yeah, that's the basic setup. So we're going model through animate diff into the prompt, prompt through ControlNet and into the K-sampler. The K-sampler does the rendering, then spits out into the output nodes. And that's, like just a super basic animate diff node setup. We're going to further complicate this with IP adapter, more control nets, and LCM. But for now, let's just see what we get. And if you are really just previewing outputs and you don't want to save a bunch of files to your hard drive for no reason, you can turn off the save output on these nodes. But these videos aren't huge. You could always delete them later, but it might be good to save everything you want to keep. Stuff like this where you're literally just previewing an output and you mean like I already have these videos saved. I don't need this preview for anything. Like those are the kind of things you turn the save output off for. All right. That's a bit of a speed run. Oh, I'm missing some of my chat here, I think. That's not fun. Oh wow, what mod was for the titles on the nodes? Oh, that's if you go into the manager, ComfyUI manager, it's actually right here, badge, nickname. That lets you know what node group they're in. Yeah. Can you output to 4K or 8K? Technically yes, but the amount of VRAM you would need to do that is not achievable by consumer methods. But you could always upscale to 4 and 8K with like Topaz and stuff. So with AI, it's really about just getting a good result around 720, etc., and then upscaling because it's just a bandwidth thing, really. This looks cool. Yeah, for sure. Whoa. So yeah, as you can see, it literally did what we asked for. In the white, it's the background, the black is the foreground, and got these crazy waves from this crazy mask. So you can just keep making masks and just keep making renders. What if you want to increase your iteration time? Like that took a while. It was only 70 frames, but it did take a while. Let's add LCM to the mix and see how it looks. All right. So we got our model. We want to come out of model, and instead of into the animate diff loader, we want to go to load LoRa loader. And we're going to load the SD15 LCM model, which is available in install models. And here you just type LCM, and it's this one right here. Hit install, and it shows up. Clip to clip. It's just like anything else. You pass through the stuff that needs to be passed through. Okay. When you use the LCM LoRa, you have to use the LCM sampler, a CFG of like 2 to 4, and believe it or not, 4 to 8 steps. So let's do this same animation with all this stuff set up through the LCM. Now, what is going to happen is this is going to be more blurry, but much faster. So we can play with how we can affect the blurriness in a minute. I'll just show you how fast it is. What ControlNet processor are we using? For this one, it is the loose control. This one. Can I not? So what it's normally used for is taking like, you see how these animations are just depth maps and it's doing what is happening in the depth map with the prompt? We're kind of abusing that to do this with the masks. So it's not exactly what it's used for, but that's one thing I find about ControlNet is like using it improperly is really quite powerful. So just try stuff. Hey, Luca. Oh, is that done? Oh, okay, there it goes. Yeah, see, it doesn't look quite as good, but it got there in 6 steps. Like what the? Actually, it looks pretty cool. And the other thing is because it's so fast, you could do upscale runs on these for, ooh, I really like that. Let's try an upscale run on that. So add a second K-sampler and take the latent out from the first K-sampler and add a latent upscale by node. And then just, you can just leave it at 1.5. So if this animation is 512 by 512, 1.5 times that is 768 by 768. So we'll get a, larger run. So pop the latent into the latent image. So now this is an upscale node. So we take our model from the same place. Boop. And we got our positive and negative prompt. Now, what I'm going to do here is set up a second control net for the upscale where it's not as pronounced as the first one, because if you stack control net a second time on a second run, it's like double powerful. It's a strange concept, but yeah, it's basically what's up. So let's add a second control net here. We'll take the conditioning out from the prompt, and then we'll run it back through. we're going to use the same images for the ControlNet source, but we're going to set the strength to like 0.3, and we're going to make it stop at like 0.6. So these start and end percents with ControlNet. What that means is it's going to apply the ControlNet in this case at the beginning of the animation or the beginning of the steps. And when it gets 60% of the way through the steps, it's going to stop control netting and just let it dream, which is what we want for the upscale a little bit, because we want the upscale to like have a bit more freedom to dream. Otherwise, you just get like you pretty much just get this if you have this up too high on the second run. So it's kind of esoteric without understanding exactly what I'm talking about, but hopefully the example will speak for itself. So let me add a VAE decode. So we need a VAE decoder, which I got covered up there. All right, so VAE decoder node down here, out here into here. VAE comes from the original red VAE on the checkpoint. VAE to VAE down here. All right, and then pass it out here. Boom, 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 boom. And we're just gonna add upscale to the front of these file names so that we don't confuse them later. Scale. All right, cool. So now what it'll do is it will do a run. It'll do this run, and then it'll do this run after. All right. Nope, it won't, because I forgot to plug in the negative prompt. So let's unplug this. Let's view queue cancel. So this conditioning goes in positive. This conditioning goes in negative. Okay. And yeah, you can see it tells you where the mistake is. So you can go back and look and see visually where you screwed up. Creo workflow going with control nets and checkpoints. Yeah, you're gonna have fun. Oh, thanks, Luca. Yeah. I mean, that's why we save them, so people can go back and watch them later, just in case. So when this is done, it should then hit the upscale. So let's just clean up some of these colors here. VAE stuff is red, upscale latent, purple, I guess. VAE DQ is red. Okay, cool. Colors. So I'm just going to keep systematically adding all the stuff to make this more and more controllable. We've already got 2 control nets kicking. Well, technically 1, but 2 copies of the same one. So now it's upscaling this run, and we'll see what it makes. You can also lower the denoise on the second one as well. And that'll make it more like the original, or less like the original. My brain just shut off. I forget. Actually, I think this is going to be wildly different because this is so low. 30% might have been too low. And you can change the control net on the first one too. You can add multiple ones. Use different inputs as long as it's the same source video, like I could generate a depth map version of this mask by just changing this to ease. Now we have a nice gradient on the edges. I think that would probably be a better depth map. And if that was linear, or not linear, constant, ease. So yeah, we can generate all kinds of different stuff without even having to pre-process it. But of course, the beauty of ControlNet here is we have preprocessors. So if I want to make a depth map for this, I can just make it in Comfy. It won't be as good though. Excuse me. It won't be as good as a Blender one because the Blender one will be a lot cleaner. Won't have as much flickering and weirdness. This is going to look nothing like the mask, I think. I'm not mad about it. I just think it's going to be weird. Oh, weird. You can see where it's just stopped control netting. That's trippy. I don't hate that. It's weird though. So with Comfy, if you fix the seeds, I think actually this one already changed, but if you use a fixed seed, it's only going to change. It's only going to render again if you've changed something that'll make it render. So in this case, if I had a fixed seed on the first render and I didn't like the upscale, I could change the randomization on the upscale and then just keep running it from that first render. But because I had it set to randomize when I ran this first one, it's actually changed the number. you can go in, I think, to the file in the EXIF data and find out what the seed was, but it's not that important for what we're doing here. Let's do some IP adapters nonsense. Okay. ControlNet is great for controlling the composition of your clip, but what if you want to control the style of your clip, right? Let's do that with IP adapters. We need the IP adapter apply encoded node. We're going to build a little IP adapter node tree here, okay? IP adapter encoder into the encoder apply encoders, okay? Image 1, we need a prep image for clip vision. All right, set the cropping to center. We're going to load an image. There we go. Got some mushrooms. Turn plus on. Okay, we need to add our loaders. So clip vision loader. We'll use the SD15 clip vision because this is SD15. Need an IP adapter loader. Same deal. We're going to use the plus, IP adapters plus. All right. That's it. That's the IP adapter stack. The model comes through. So I think it goes before LCM. So we'll go checkpoint, model to load LoRa. Okay. So if I'm correct, it's kind of like that. So what this does is it allows us to take an image, have the AI look at that image, and then infuse that style into the animation. So I'm going to disconnect the upscaler for now because it's just wasted time. And I'm going to say mushroom waves in the jungle. And if I am right, this should do this, but with that. Let's just make sure all my settings are right here. Looks good. Just trying to make this somewhat legible here. Okay. Yeah. Hopefully that makes sense. If not, join the Discord and ask. It's all good. Yeah, there we go. And our weird mushroom waves. That is trippy. So if you're unhappy with LCM and you want like higher quality and stuff, you can just pull it out. So we'll just get rid of that. Clip goes to clip. Model goes model. Yeah, we're good. Get rid of LCM. We can go back to a regular sampler. Euler. We'll go with CFG of 6 and 20 steps. But this looks great. It's just, you'll notice with LCM, you see all this sort of like, I don't know what to call it. It's like dust or like spotty AI goo. It definitely exists with LCM. So let's try that again with just like regular prompt. I'm using the version 3 version of the Animate Diff motion modules, but there's lots of them. But you can see how IP adapters is just completely overpowered in the sense of infusing style on your images, right? Because you noticed it had 4 inputs, right? So you can put a person, clothing, setting, and like just general style or palette as the 4 images, and it'll just kind of figure it out, man. If you're curious about the guts or like how IP adapters work, so you should check out Mateo's channel on YouTube. It's Latent Vision. He's got lots of videos on how to effectively use IP adapters because he wrote the Comfy plugin. Yeah, that's a flex. All right, well, this is going. Let's make some new masks. All right. Hit the little shield to save your thing, and then just hit this little thing, the like copy button here, and it'll make a new patch. So we can go back to the old one or just keep going. Let's go ahead and change stuff, play with stuff. It's all good. Let's try a see what the brick texture does. Nothing. What if we divide? Oh, is that because it's so... Yeah. Oh, that's trippy. I have a feeling that would be a very bad mask. It's kind of cool, though. This is kind of cool. Oh, cool. Let's make them like little pills. Oh, interesting. Do I know what I'm doing? No. Does it matter? No. Change stuff until it looks cool. It's kind of cool. We want black as the background and white as the stuff that's changing. Right now it's backwards. It's kind of backwards too. All right, X. I kind of like that. It's kind of neat. I don't know what it's going to make, but it's kind of neat. That's actually pretty neat too, but no, we'll just leave it at 0. Let's try just some different math things just in case we can get a cooler look. That's pretty neat, actually. I think I want it the other way, though. Yeah. That's pretty cool. Yes. Also, the 1080 Ti doesn't have enough CUDA cores and the RTX cores, so it's pretty much always going to be pain with AI stuff. You really need like a 2060, 3060, 4060 to you need those RTX cores to make it. Those are cool. I'm gonna render this mask because I think it's gonna be weird. Comfy mask 2 render. Let's see how our thing's doing. Yeah, the non LCM ones do look a lot better. That's super trippy. You'll notice it's a perfect loop too, which is awesome. As always, if you want to listen along to the music I'm listening to, just click on me on Discord and hit listen along. So, mushroom waves in the jungle. That's what I asked for. Let's try a different. What do you? I wonder what'll look cool with that. Would look cool with the. Oh, maybe that. One of my Purz bots. We'll try that with the brick one and see what happens. Is that done, by the way? Yeah. Comfy mask 2. Yeah, that's you. Same deal. 7002. It'll all work. And then we'll change it to robot. Whoa. Caps. Robot bricks. Right. So what's our animation going to look like? The source will look like this. And we'll see what that means. I kind of like this sort of like, I made a mask and we'll see what we can make with the mask sort of workflow. It's not exactly as direct or results oriented as other workflows, but it's how I like to work. I like to make stuff and then sort of make weird stuff with it. The scoop with loose control net. Yeah, so no, loose control net lets you have loose control of the things in your animation. We can actually try it out with I can make some depth masks of cubes, animated cubes in Blender, and we can see what it's actually supposed to do. I'm using it kind of incorrectly right now. I like it as an animate diff control net, just like with masks in it, but it also works with depth maps, so we can try that. Let's build a little scene in Blender. Let's save this one. So we got a little cube. Maybe let's make a second cube. So what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to let's do a 240 frame animation. Start here. So we're just going to keyframe some movements here. Let's make them both move in. Hold on. Let's see. 3, 4, in. All right, and then move 2. Yep, and then hey, Xlad. And then you keep you here. 3, and then you 3. And then now we're gonna go back to 0. Go back to 4. 0. Close enough. Yeah, that'll be interesting enough. We'll make a 210 frame animation. We'll probably go twice as fast. All right, and then let's we gotta make this a depth map. So can I composite a depth map yet? Dre's. Oh, nice. Depth camera and recorder in Unity. Love it. That's really handy. Okay, I want to make. Oh, I could just look at the Z pass. I think. Yep. Let's set up a camera back here. Camera. Yep. Gonna be dead center. Try to get the whole scene in the shot. Right, we got our little cubes dancing around. Now let's switch to regular Eevee, the new one rather, and maybe I can zoom in a bit. Far up to the. Okay, we can go up with 1.5. That's pretty good. All right, we got our 2 boxes, and they're doing box stuff. Move our light back here a bit. I wonder if I should tilt the boxes a little bit. Do they intersect? Yeah, of course they do. Of course they do, because I made them touch. All right, screw it. It'll be fine. Let's get a depth map going somehow here. Yeah, how would I render a depth map on here, bud? Losing my mind here. Z pass? I don't want real-time compositing. Do we have real-time compositing in Eevee next? Why don't I see it? Blender, you've gotten so weird. I could have sworn we had real-time compositing. Did they move it? Or is it just on now by default? Okay, whatever. I want to see the depth pass. Compositing viewer node? Yep. That's interesting. Why are you so weird these days, Blender? Okay, well, I got my Z. If I want to render my Z, I just need to render a depth map in Blender. It never used to be hard for me. Now my brain is just shutting off completely. Maybe it's a Blender 4 thing. Maybe the mist pass is enough. That's so weird. I could have sworn there used to be a checkbox up here for real-time compositor. What is going on here, man? Feeling real dumb right now. Well, that's odd. If I just want I just want to see the mist pass. Yep. I don't get it. I think they've changed some stuff in Blender 4 and now I'm just confused. Oh, really? Experimental, you say? Is that down here? Where's the experimental settings? WTF? Is this the wrong version of Blender? Am I losing my mind? Slowly losing my mind on stream? Think so. I swear I've seen what you're talking about. I just don't see it here. Go to interface and then turn on developer extras. Interface. Oh, thanks, bud. Experimental compositors? Hey, Jeff. It's cool. I'll just lose my mind on stream for the next 2 hours. Experimental compositor, yeah. Compositing. Do I have to restart Blender? Maybe I gotta restart Blender. Now in the compositor editor, you can go to the options tab on the sidebar. Top right in overlay. Hold on. In the compositor editor, you can go to the options tab on the sidebar and switch to GPU. Oh, as opposed to tiled? GPU. Okay. Still can't see that mist pass though. What's that about? Oh wait, this doesn't work at all. Image to image. Why you mad, bruh? Oh, you don't tell me why you're mad? You just mad? Alright, cool. Yikers, my yikers. Sorry everybody, I thought this would be a lot faster. I don't understand at all what is happening. To see depth, you'll need to normalize it. Compositing depth. Normalize. No, that's normal. Normalize into viewer. If you go back to 3D view, you can now go to the overlay settings. Ah, hello. I just want a depth, baby. Feeling real stupid again. Combine. Okay. And then in compositing, I guess I need to. Yeah, this is really weird. Image to image. Like, shouldn't the image work though? Compositor editor sidebar. Yeah, see depth. You'll need to normalize it. Yeah. Render ball settings. 3 buttons in the compositor. Oh, always. So now I go back to. So then I can just bring this up in here, right? So should we not get something though? Yeah. Oh, okay. Mist maybe? No, not mist. Depth. Oh. How do I get rid of the damn grid? Oh, wait, no. What does this look like when I render it? Oh, okay. Maybe we try like this angle? They kind of look like boxes. Man, it looks like crap. Does it look like that? Okay, the render doesn't. So I guess we could invert this. After normalize, maybe? No, you go in here. Okay. I think no matter what I do here, it's going to be ugly. This feels all wrong. Okay. All right, well, we got our moving little boxes. Maybe that's enough. I don't know. I hate the edges. I don't know why the edges are so ugly. Oh, it looks like crap. How come? No, good. Now they don't exist. Compositing. I need to go here too. And I think maybe not invert. There's an AA node. And oh, you know what? Maybe I'll just use AO instead of all this bull. Let's just fake this. Screw all this. Compositing. I'm just gonna fake it. Yep. Disabled. All right, let's do For y'all, I'm going to give you an emission shader. And on that emission shader, I'm going to add ambient occlusion. Yes. I'm going to bevel these cubes. Get a little bit of love on them. Generate bevel. The copy modifiers. Oh, the other way around. Okay, it kind of works. Let me get my color ramp. Maybe they need... What else do they need? To be in some kind of cube, maybe? It's hard. I want to get... Kind of like need their edges and stuff. This is a rabbit hole. We went way too far down this rabbit hole. Well, that's pretty crazy. Yeah, I'll do some more work on the depth path stuff and try and figure that out later. I am not messing with that anymore. All right, temp. I already have some stuff anyway, so let's see. That might do something. I don't love it though. What else do I have? Trying to think of like good depthy stuff. It's not too chaotic, so you can actually see what's happening. These are kind of cool. I actually was curious what happens with this. I made this glitchy thing last week. Yeah, we're running this. I'm dying to know what this does. And let's get a cool skull picture to use as the IP adapters. Ooh, that's neat. ComfyUI, IP adapters, drag that in there. Got an angry ass skull. Okay, and then skull. And our skull glitch. And we're going to actually load all the frames, but I'm going to load the video 3 times as fast as it normally is. Because I think it's actually pretty long. 180 frames. So actually 2 is only 90. Let's do 90 frames. Let's try that. Yeah, I will definitely fight with that depth stuff. It looks weird because it's set to 17 frames per second because I accidentally dragged the slider, but yeah, it happens. I don't actually recommend dragging and dropping because if your image has a comfy workflow in it and you drag it like 1 pixel off the place where you were trying to drag it, you can replace your workflow while you're working. I only do it with images I know don't have EXIF data attached to them. Well, this is going to be crazy looking, I think. All right, well, we've been streaming for about an hour and a half, so stand up and move your legs or don't. I'm going to while this renders. But yeah, stretch your legs. Get up. Move your body, or don't. I'm not your mom. I'll be right back. I was super curious what this glitchy ass thing's going to look like. I suspect it's going to be weird. Oh my god, I was right. Crazy. Let's try it at like a full strength. Oh, it is full strength. Oh, interesting. You can go over. Let's try 1.3. Curious what it looks like over strength. That is really cool. I'm also going to back the IP adapters off a bit, let it dream a little bit. And I'm actually going to stop the control. No, I'm going to let the ControlNet keep going crazy. Let's do that again. This is cool. Yeah, that's the actual speed. Oh, you know what? It's too fast. I think that's why it's weird. This will take longer, but I'm just going to run the full animation at regular speed. We'll see how that looks. The method I use to make this this animation, I've been working with quite a bit lately. It's actually using a parallax shader on a bunch of planes that are being instanced with geometry nodes. So this is almost like a carousel of screens, but the video is actually playing, I don't know how to describe it, like 10 feet behind each screen. So you just get this very strange, glitchy perspective when you spin them because the parallax is, activating as each plane goes by the camera. So yeah, it's just a really cool way to mess with footage you've already made. Maybe you can always find interesting ways in Blender of reusing your old videos as image textures. Because in Blender, any image texture, right, can be, or any image sequence can be an image texture, and you can just tell Blender, how many frames long the sequence is, and it'll just keep repeating that sequence. So that's, that video is being played back on like thousands of frames that are all, or maybe hundreds. Oh yeah, S mode is cool. I never got into it, but I've seen lots of amazing stuff done with that. 6 minutes. Okay, cool. Let's screw around in Blender a bit while this is going. This is actually a similar method to what I was doing with the plane, but we're also using the textures to displace the vertices of the plane. And it's another way of making really cool animations. Can show you what that looks like from here. Let's take this. Let's make a round cube. Radius of 1, edit, subdivide, smooth. There we go. We have a ball. Shade smooth. Look at that ball. It could be none ballier. None more ballier. It's relatively low poly, so we can there's a few things we can do about that. So we can either do this with shader, like vector displacement with the shader, or we can do it with geometry nodes. They're both, processes. One of them gives you a mesh, the other one doesn't. Depends on what you want to do with this. If you want to save that mesh for something else, I recommend doing it with geometry nodes, because then you can like freeze that mesh in its position and save it. With shader nodes, your displacement is all in the shader. So it doesn't actually make that geometry. So you can't take this stuff and like use it in other apps, or like, or you can't like export a vector displaced thing in a way that you could use it in like a game engine or something. You can absolutely export videos of it, and that's sort of what it's for in Blender, but sometimes it's good to have access to a mesh later, right? So let's do this with geometry nodes. Why not? So for this, I'm going to use a geometry node in the Arendelle toolkit. It's called Displace by Texture, and the Arendelle toolkit is a highly recommended set of Blender tools or geometry nodes. It's like a geometry nodes pack. It's amazing. I use it pretty much every single day. I don't even get a kickback or anything, so that's how you know it's legit. So in this node pack, the Arendelle toolkit, and I mean, I'm a little biased because if you look in here, there happens to be a Purz node. I'm just saying, but that's okay. We're gonna use this utility called Displace Texture. Okay, so this is actually gonna let me plug a texture in to the plug a texture into here, and then I'm gonna be able to displace my mesh via the texture in 3D. So it's kind of the same as vector displacement, except we're just doing it on the geometry. It looks like garbage because I have it set to shade smooth, and there's not enough geometry. See, when it's shade flat, you can see just not enough geometry to make this look cool. Now you could reduce the strength and just make it pump out a little bit. Then you got a little bumpy, lumpy thing. But again, we just do not have enough topology to make this look good. So what can we do? We got our geometry plugged into the displace node. So let's add a subdivide mesh. Blanc, and we can do that a couple times. Give ourselves more geometry to work with. Okay. Then on the way out, we're going to add a set shade smooth. That's going to get us most of the way there. And we're just going to add one more node, and that's a subdivide surface. And that's going to give us our final subdivision, give us our stuff. And now when I do stuff with the node, now you see my subdivision is a little high. So we'll turn that down. This is a sort of like a quality slider while we're working. Okay. You turn this back up when it's render time, but for now, I want nice, smooth movement when I'm iterating and trying to figure out what this is doing, okay? So our strength here is how much our texture is affecting the vertices. The mid-level is the midpoint at which that happens, so you want to leave that at 0.5. And these textures, in shader nodes, we have the ability to use object coordinates, but with geometry nodes, we don't exactly have the ability to use object coordinates, but what we can do is grab the vector like position, just pop the position into the vector, and then just add a vector add, or vector math, sorry. And now we can actually move the texture along any of the axis if we want to. Now this works better when the texture is not randomized because you can find the point where it perfectly lines up and then loop that. I think it's 2. Yeah. 0 to 2. That'll loop perfectly. You'll just get a big golf ball, but it'll loop perfectly. But let's think about how we did texture stuff before. We don't need to necessarily make the Voronoi loop, do we? No, we can just make a wave texture. Wave texture is the cheat code. So let's add a math node because these are just textures. This is like numbers, floats. Pop that factor in. And now we've got this wave shape in our thing. So what can we do? Move that phase offset. What do we get? Perfect loop from 0 to tau. Tau is pi times 2. Let's bring up a timeline so we can see what the hell we're doing here. Let's just do a 90 frame animation for this one. We're just going to do it once. So 0, I, go to the end, 1 frame down, negative tau, I. Boom, perfect loop. Now that we have this looping, we don't necessarily need the ugly ass Voronoi to be not random, and we can get really cool shapes. Play with these settings, play with all of the settings, do things. There we go. Got our weird bulging Ferrero Rocher candy. Doesn't it look delicious? And then when you want to go to render it, just start increasing these to your taste, and then you get nice lines. In this case, less than clean lines. That might even be better. Now, another cool thing is because this is we've got lots of like divots and valleys and stuff like that, we can add if we go to our shader editor, we can do that thing I was doing earlier with the ambient occlusion. So let's make a new emission shader. So it's just going to spit out light, right? Because we don't actually need the reflective surface for the depth map stuff. Let's try that AO node again. Ambient occlusion, AO into color, maybe color into color. We should get, see, that's odd. Oh, I know why. Wrong version of VV. Oh yeah, okay, it's kind of working. Now I need a color ramp. Okay, there we go. So now we can make a depth map. It's a tough one. Let's try adding. Just trying to get a little more contrast in here. But you can see we get the actual divots where it's breathing in, and it's really neat. But it doesn't necessarily need to be an admission shader. So let's use a principled shader for this. Now this one's going to let the light reflect off of it. So it'll just give the ambient occlusion a little bit more, give the ambient occlusion a little more love. It's kind of creepy as is. Let's get rid of that. Let's kill the, ooh, spooky. And then when you want to render this properly, you can render it in like cycles and get like, perfect lighting and stuff. But we're just messing around right now in Eevee. I'm actually going to get rid of this too. That's fine. Make it metallic. Sure, why not? Maybe we add some more lights. Screw this one. Let's add an area light. Actually, let's, okay. 3-point lights. Can make the lights spin. Let's do that. So I'm going to attach all of these, lights to the Bezier circle I just made. That's not going to work because they're already attached to, never mind. We're going to leave this alone because it's got it, the tri-lighting has its own, the tri-lighting has its own nonsense going on. Forget it, man. This is creepy. I like how it's like breathing. So let's go to our GeoNodes editor. More strength, less strength. Interesting. I know that's a glitch, but it might make a really interesting AI animation. You know what I mean? Wild. Yeah, let's try that. And try it as a depth map. I'm trying to find the coolest angle. It's kind of neat. Yeah, let's try that. All right, point the camera. Creepy. All right, cool. What happens if I give it some more subdivision? Nice. Is that too much? Too much subdivision on the way in. Wait, I'm going to try something. Dual mesh. Oh, that's weird. Oh, that's double weird. 2 with more sub. That should be fine. All right, let's render that. Mask 3. That's gonna make a weird AI render, that's for sure. Wow. Okay, this is pretty freaking cool. Interesting. Find a good candidate for the next one. Actually, this one might be good too. I made this a while ago, but I don't think I've actually done an AI animation of it yet. Yeah, we're doing this one. Glitch Rose. Okay, and then we're gonna do a double speed. No, it's only 90 frames. We'll do it one, and I'm gonna use a rose. Bunch of crap on my desktop. No big deal. Comfy, where are you, bud? Come on, brain. Same browser. Do. Yeah, that came out super cool. Didn't realize my camera was off. Whoops. Yeah, I built a bunch of old new overlays and stuff because I got some guests coming on the podcast. Well, not podcast, whatever this is, live stream. Some guests coming on soon. Got Olivio Sarkos from YouTube. Some of you may know him. He makes awesome videos about AI like every friggin' day. We're gonna chill and try out some comfy workflows. Make It Rad, he'll be here. I'll have Empress Trash on here, fantastic AI artist and just artist in general, and friend of mine from the NFT world. And who else? Oh, and hopefully Matt Wolf will be on the show too. He's excited to come and try some stuff out. So yeah, we're gonna have some really fun guests in the very near future, and I'll drop dates and stuff for that once everybody's confirmed. But yeah, this community's been really awesome, and I hope to have a few more guests in March as well. I've been talking to some people that are really good at like AI video animation, and I want to have them kind of do a stream takeover where we check out their workflows and stuff. So yeah, we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna nerd it up and keep it moving. Tonight's stream isn't like really like a, this is more of a just a hanging out and blending and making masks type stream. It's less focused than my normal streams. Normally I'm focused on, one particular thing, one particular tool that came out. But tonight's more of a hangout. So you have to figure out a name for what tonight's streams sort of are so that people know it's not like a, guided tutorial and stuff. It's more of a just, we're going to hang out and make some weird stuff and see what happens. But yeah, when I have the guests on, we'll be a lot more focused on whatever we're talking about. My idea is to either talk about their workflows or talk about like fresh, exciting stuff that's just come out that we're all really excited about and dive in together, because like one of the main focuses of this stream is to show you like not to be scared of this stuff. It's not as terrifying as it needs to be. And you can break stuff and you can fix stuff, and like the process is not smooth. And like I've been doing this for literally years now, the AI animation, and like I still run into this crap. Like you saw me run into the walls of Blender. I've been using Blender for like 5 years. These things happen, right? So never feel like you don't have the skills to do this stuff, because like it just do it. Just try stuff. The worst that'll happen is it won't work. Which is frustrating, but it's not going to break anything. Either that or I'll just pivot into a full-time Pal World streamer, because it seems that's what everybody else is doing. Maybe I'll just play Pal World in the corner all the time while this is going, and then get best of both worlds. Just really snag that engagement, Oh, yeah. Okay, this came out way better than I thought it would. I don't want to get sued by Nintendo. Maybe we should make Pokemon ones. Wow. Cap the 40-year-old nerd game streamer mark. This is sick. Yep. Let's try butterflies. Maybe we can do a butterfly, and let's try multiple IP adapters. IP adapterinos. Butterfly. Where did I put it? Oh, did I not download it? Oh, it's an AVIF. Gross. What about this blue one? JPEG, we win. All right, so we're going to try a rose and a butterfly. Butterfly rose. Hit it, baby. Actually, I could make this thing again. Those are actually really neat. Kill the round cube. Let's get back. It's Eevee. Let's add a we've seen a cube for this. Cube, geometry nodes. Let's change the cube. So with geometry nodes, you can actually disconnect the input and just use your own. So I'm actually going to use an ecosphere instead of a cube. All right, so I got my weird little ball. I'm going to dual mesh my ecosphere. It's going to make it look like a soccer ball. All right. You can add 3 subdivisions. So we got like this sort of like this thing going on. So these are all just faces, right, on a mesh. So let's add extrude mesh. Now we got all these like pokey bits, right? I'm going to turn them down a bit. And then this, we're actually going to add a scale elements. And we're going to plug the top into the selection. We're going to turn that down. You get these weird little spiky balls. Scale them up. They do weird stuff. Scale them down. They do weird stuff. Offset, all that stuff. So we can do this multiple times. So let's hey, where'd my dual mesh? Oh, that's why my dual mesh is on the wrong side. Okay, there we go. I wonder why I look like shit. All right, there we go. Yeah. So offset scale is like how, or the offset is like how much it pushes out each point, and the scale is how flat the edges are. So here's a cool thing. We can take this and just duplicate it and do it again. Stop it. All right, there we go. Geometry to mesh, geometry out. Boom. Now we got 2. You just have to be careful that your numbers are, I think it's half, or is it double? Okay, just slide them around until they look cool. But as you can see, there's a lot of options here. This is what I really like about procedural modeling is, you know, sliders, baby. That's kind of cool. Oh, geez, chat went off. Nintendo will come after everyone. Yeah. Never did understand how the 3 outputs merge. 2 into the 3rd. WebP. Yeah, 4D shapes. Yeah, so these are cool. And then what else can we do? Let's oh, that's kind of cool. We could build, that might be a cool animation too. Some kind of Lego-y type thing. Oh, I like that. That's kind of fun. Do like some kind of weird stop motion thing with that. Yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff you can do, especially if you put the meshes the wrong way and do stuff you're not technically supposed to do. But yeah, let's what else can we do with this? We could run a texture through it. So there's 2 ways to do this. We can actually do it later or we can do it earlier. I kind of like doing it right here. I'll show you the difference. So let's add a wave texture. Okay, let's move the scale of the wave texture way down so that we get, yeah, something blibby blabby wibbly wobbly. Turn the strength down to about like 2.25. We're gonna just wiggle that, wiggle it. All right. So what do? I go to the end, add negative tau, and hit I, and then scub. Oh, wait a minute. I think Comfy is doing something. Oh, look, they're little butterflies. Oh my god, that's cool. Wow. So you could like probably dial that in even better. Say like I want this like 0.7 and this like 0.9. Oh, that's cool. Okay, this is going slowly because I kind of have too much going on after this. So I'm going to move this displacement till after this stuff, and that should make it less awful. Still pretty awful. This isn't actually, that's odd. I shouldn't be running this slowly. That's odd. Is it this? It's not the second. That's just slow as hell. That's odd. This was faster before, I swear. Did I break something? Oh, I'm in cycles? It still should be fast. Okay. This stuff's all fast. Yeah, okay. Strange. All right, whatever. Screw it. I'm trying to think of what would be a cool animation for these. Did I run this? No. Okay, instead I think I'm going to run this other mask that we made. Comfy Mask 3. Let's try this one. 90, yep. I kind of want to run it with the same stuff. Add a sphere on each point. Yeah, you could. yeah, you just instance on points, instance ecosphere. Oh wait, is it because I'm using the ETK ecosphere? Hold on. What is going on here? What the? What did I break? Oh, it's just this. That was right. I'm just dumb. Okay, so back to you. So now we want to instance on points. We're going to instance little ecospheres. And we're going to shrink them. And then we're going to join the instances with the... Yeah, baby. And then we'll just increase the thing and add a set shade smooth on those. There, now it's got balls. You just spin it. Oh no, Blender's just straight up moving slow as hell. Okay, I'm gonna save this. Ecosphere nonsense. Yeah, Blender's just losing its mind right now. Yeah, like what? There's no reason for it to be this slow. I think I'm gonna leave Blender alone while this is rendering. I think we are losing my computer slowly. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Oh yeah, you're right. It might have been. Might have been. I'll check that after. Whoa. Yeah, it was probably the real-time compositor stuff. Nice. Okay, I'm gonna slip LCM back into the mix. So I'm very interested in this going faster. Go after IP adapter. Load Laura. You have to load the clip. I wonder. I don't think you need to load the clip. Maybe you do. Let's find out. LCM. All right, baby. LCM. Let's go 4 steps just to test. And hit it, baby. Well, that's faster. Not as good, but faster. So there's an idea I had last night because like LCM has crappy backgrounds, just does. I was using RemBG, like the remove background thing, and it worked really well, but it takes too long. So I'm trying to figure out a really cool way of just pulling the subject out like quickly, and then maybe dreaming a new background and putting the subject back on top of that background because like yeah, the LCM backgrounds always look like this, it's just like blurry and weird. Maybe it's the ControlNet. Let's try this kind of looks like a depth map, so let's try like the depth ControlNet and see what happens. Nice and fast iteration with LCM. Yeah, I mean that's why it's happening. Is the background is literally black, so it doesn't know what to do. Just zero information. The QR code one might also do some cool stuff. We could try that too. I don't know if I have that one installed right now, actually. Yes, I do. So this is SD15 depth ControlNet with this mask, which isn't technically a depth map. So actually, it might be interesting to pre-process this into a depth map as well and see if that actually makes a difference. Let's try Zoe. We have depth anything? Ooh. Okay. Okay. I did not know I had depth anything. We might need to have some fun now. I forgot about depth anything. Okay. I want to try this with real human people. Travel. I just want somebody like walking, maybe walking. I want somebody facing the camera walking. Yeah. 512 by question mark by 512 is the long width. Yeah. The other thing I need to do is I need the image size from this. Get image size. And then empty latent image, we're going to swap these to input, or width and height rather. There it is. And width to width, height to height, frame count to batch size. We'll just try 64 frames to test. Same settings. Don't need this one anymore. Oh, I set it up for the... Okay, I'm going to remove the upscaler for now. Don't need it. I added it to the upscaler, not the regular one. All right, that should make more sense now. Okay, I don't know what this is going to do, but I'm very curious. So depth anything is a... Let's see if it works. So depth anything is a new depth map preprocessor built by TikTok. Looks like we're downloading models because I have not used it yet. But apparently it's fantastic and fast. Apparently very fast. Very, very fast. It crashed really fast anyway. Let's have a think about that. Is outdoor 512. Maybe it needs to be square. You have to be square. Why was it mad? No, it's mad. Okay, expected size to be one of int or tuple int or tuple int int or tuple int int int, but got size with types. Wait. All right, depth. Maybe it's just this one. We're gonna figure this out. You know, we're not, but we will try. Whoa. It worked. 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 Look how good that depth map is. Oh my god. Oh, that was fast as hell too. Okay, so we might have to do some extensive depth anywhere testing. What time is it? Oh, 10 to 9. All right, let's keep kicking. Sick. Wait, let's use people. Do I have people? How many people here? Let's try stock photo man office. He looks happy. See if we can make it this guy. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. 0, 1. Okay, and then we'll go man walking in an alley. Okay, let's see if it can make it this guy. Again, this is LCM, so it kind of looks like crap, but it's doing a really good job depth-wise. If you did this with like 20 steps on regular, it'd probably look pretty good. It's really focused on the subject because it's for TikTok. Crazy. It's because that image is like super bright, right? Yeah. Oh yeah, I wonder if there's a good point. Dang. I gotta know what it does with this smoke. I love this clip too. Whoa. Good job. Holy cow. So then what if we use this with the wrong control net? Like the one we were using, loose control. This is like way too overbearing. This is too overbearing. Mr. Bean? That's actually gonna be too bright too, I think. I have Margot Robbie in here somewhere, I think. Sweet Baby Ray's. We could try Barbie. Yeah, that is brutal. All right. We're actually gonna go full on that. That's crazy. Let's do 2 more. Oh, my CFG was crazy high for LCM. That's no good. Put that back down to 2. Let's try that again. So hopefully this will be Mr. Bean. Mr. Bean spraying smoke. Wait, did I change it to Mr. Bean or Barbie? Uh-oh. I used a picture of Barbie and I prompted it Mr. Bean, so this might be fantastic. Let's go, Mr. Bean in a Barbie dress. Let's go. Sort of beanie features in the face. See what happens. Ooh. Oh, that's cool as hell. Nice. Okay, let's try Barbie this time. Barbie spraying smoke in an alley. That's so cool. Okay, that's at 100%. That's at 100%. Nice. You. Beep, 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 beep. All right, render. Crazy. Now, now I'm curious. I'm gonna try something else. Okay, so I added so I added open pose as well. If this takes too long, I'm gonna stop it because yeah, bummer. I swear, this ON and X stuff only works for one thing at a time. Can I stop this? So, okay, the problem here is my ON and X stuff is broken, so it's using the CPU to do the depth pose, the open pose estimation, and it's gonna take like 10 minutes to do it when it's a literally like a 30-second at the most job on the GPU, but it's just more comfy environment crap. See, that's what all this is here. All that anger. All right, let's try. Stop. All right. Screw it. Or maybe we should use soft edge. Might be interesting. Let's see what that does. So this will do soft edges as well as the depth. I like how the smoke looks like gooey paint and how it like sort of drips down the building. It's cool. Hey, Biddy. Let's go. Render. 2 minutes, not bad. So we'll see what this does. It might add some detail to the edges. Might make it look like crap. You never know. What I'm trying to do is enforce the outfit a bit here because like it sort of understands, but it's sort of making the dress from the IP adapters, and then it's sort of like just placing it over the body. But here we see how the fabric actually like floats off the body. So hopefully we'll get like a more realistic animation, but it might still be cartoony too. Who knows? But yeah, mixing control nets is super powerful. You can also control or mix change the amounts that the control nets take over. So if it's too much, we'll back it off. I think it's getting the oh cool, it's getting the texture of her tights too because they're like stripy. My guess is the face is going to be totally messed up. Oh, that's pretty cool. It's really doing the smoke well. Holy. Now I'm curious. I'm gonna try this face restore model and see if it see what it do. Okay. This should just do the face model. Okay. Let's group this stuff up so it doesn't look like absolute nonsense. A little better. So, even better. Not better enough. Might be okay on a longer run or a closer face run. Might be better. Okay. That damn near makes sense. These are ugly, but they almost make sense. Okay. So checkpoint. This is IP adapter. This is animate diff. Whoa. Okay. Animate diff. This is the prompt. This is the ControlNet 1. Title ControlNet 2. Diffusion. And you are output. And you are output face fixer. QI. That's the lower loader and the checkpoint loader. Beautiful. Yeah, comfy rules. Let's. That depth anywhere is awesome. Now I want to try it with one of my clips. Let's try it with this guy. Oh, it's a image sequence. Do I have any videos? No. Let's try. This one might be cool. I don't want to. Well, no, it's too gurgly. Too burbly. It's like a depth map of. This might be interesting. It's already on a black back. Can we use? What can we use? Actually, this one might be cool. How big is it? 280? You VHS load images path. Image you. Image to soft edge. Yeah, why not? Yeah, fine. Boo, boo, boo. Let's do it 3 times as fast, and we're gonna go ocean flyover with Barbie. What might be a cool? Need a cool. I don't know. So much damn. Oh, we can do the mushrooms again. Mushroom ocean flyover, and then you go in here. Width and height come from there. Get image size comes from here. Except we're gonna resize. This can't force, so we're gonna resize the image. And that will go into the image size. Actually, I don't even need this node anymore. Width to width, height to height, height to height. Yeah. And we're gonna crop. We're not gonna keep proportion. Well, that's squish it or crop it. I forget. I think it squishes, so I guess we'll keep proportion. Screw it. It goes to the preprocessors. You. Yeah, should work. Oh, no, why? Oh, this should work. I'm curious what a depth map of a depth map looks like. Oh, cool. This should be interesting, especially with the mushrooms. This looks cool already. Do. 3 minutes for 288 frames. Hey, it could be worse, right? Did I not do it at 3 times the speed? Oh, shoot. What are you plugged in? And the height plugged into the batch size. 288 frames. That's so stupid. Okay, let me fix that. So this int will go into the batch size. God. So width and height and batch size. Yeah. Whoops. I'm a professional. Whoa. What happens when it runs out of frames? It just loops, I guess. Probably don't need the face fixer run. Interpolation. Yeah, that's cool. It's definitely like getting the mushroom stuff. I think that's actually this one. I'm gonna get rid of this one for now by turning the weight to 0. And I'm actually gonna actually no, I'm not. I'm gonna change this to the ControlNet checkpoint, which is like animate diff ControlNet control GIF, I think it's called. And instead of pre-processing it, I'm going to send it straight in. So I'm gonna send it in from here because this is resized down here. Okay, and so we're going to generate a depth map, which we did, and then we're going to do just straight video straight in, ADIF ControlNet. We're going to do the actual amount of frames, which should be much faster, and that should work. Yeah, that's way faster. So yeah, tonight we went over this entire workflow basically from the ground up. If you want to learn how to do it, you can go back and watch the video and follow along, or just hit me up in Discord if you want this workflow. But it's pretty similar to the ones we make pretty much every week. You can use IP adapters to imply a style on an animation and use a loop or any input footage as ControlNet footage and make yourself some cool animate diff videos. It's basically my main workflow for exploring what these control nets do and how they operate. This is pretty cool. We've lost the mushroomnosity of it, but maybe not. I kind of see it. And, I don't know which control net is, fighting harder. So turn this one off and just see what the depth does. Turn depth off and see what just the ADIF control net does. Run them. That's pretty cool. We just straight up don't need these face fixer nodes. So the first run will be full strength on the depth, and then the next run will be full strength on the control net, like ADIF control net. We'll see what they do. So this is the depth run right now. All right, so the depth really lets it dream. I like that. Definitely looks like mushrooms. So that was with depth at 100%, and now this next run will be with ADIF at 100%. The ADIF control GIF control net. And as always, these videos will be saved on YouTube. This is the first time I've tried restreaming on X and Instagram and all that stuff. It seems to be pretty cool, getting lots of people in from all the different places, so that's fun. I don't play music in my streams because they always get copy stricken later when I VOD them. So yeah, you want to put some tunes on, go ahead. If you got me on Discord or if you're on my Discord, just click on my name and you can listen along to the stuff I'm listening to. If you want to go to my Discord, it's purz.xyz. Links are all there. Yeah, sign up, subscribe on YouTube for all the notifications for when I go live. And yeah, join the Discord if you want to get into this stuff. So I got workflows and mask packs and all kinds of stuff on there. And lots of over 1,000 very talented people in there. We just hit 1,000 members last week, so that was pretty awesome. Congratulations to us. Ah. I need confetti to go everywhere when I say that. Okay. Now that's pretty interesting. So that's the control ADIF ControlNet checkpoint. I like that. That's weird. Okay. Now I'm curious. Oh no, the first one was loose control. We did depth. Anything with loose control? Oh, that's extra double confusing. Loose control was actually really interesting. Let's do that again with a different input image. Try like one of these guys. I don't know what it's going to do. Claymation workout. Why not, right? Take it easy, Corey. Thanks for hanging out, buddy. This is cool. Yeah, so I'm going to stream again on Sunday. I want to get that instant ID stuff working, and then we're going to go through that instant ID stuff because it's sort of the future of IP adapters. And I'm going to dig into this depth anything stuff more because it's fascinating. They did a really good job with this depth model. I want to try it on a bunch of different footage and see how it looks, and then see how we can incorporate that into our workflows to make cooler AI videos of humans and people doing stuff. So if we get rid of the depth anything preprocessor and just use the footage, does it look better? Or are we getting... Oh, I know what's happening. We don't want to resize. We want to crop. Yeah. We want to crop center 512 by 512. Do we want to resize it first, though? Yeah, image resize. Sorry, I'm just thinking the math out here in my head while I'm going to resize it to 512 by whatever. And then crop it to 512 by 512. Yeah. So this should make square videos, but it doesn't. Keep proportion true, and then U center. That's odd. Just trying to figure out how to, yeah, the hell. Resizing it to 512 by whatever. Keeping proportion. Oh, because that's not going to work either. See, if I go straight to the crop, I'm going to get the dead center of the image, which is like way too close. I hate dealing with images I hate dealing with cropping and resizing in Comfy. How have your tests with SVD or SDXL Turbo with the ControlNet? So SVD doesn't work with the Animate Diff. SDXL Turbo I haven't tried much yet because I haven't got it working with Hotshot. So yeah, I haven't tested any of that stuff, honestly. Wait, what the? Oh, I see what happened. Oh, this is going to be a weird one. Aspect's all wrong. Well, he just shows up in the middle. Wait, where are you coming from? Oh yeah, that's right. Batch size. I guess I could just 1024 by 1024 and then scale her down. Crop it and then image resize. 512 by 512. Better? Yeah, that's better. The workflow, all these workflows are on my Discord, so just pop on there, purz.xyz, all the links are there. Should probably change the IP adapters from that stupid claymation dude and try the robots. Jeff, Mr. Bean. Oh, yeah, right on, Biddy. Have a good night. Thanks for hanging out. That's wild. That's wild. Mr. Bean. Try these gates. Video game. I think I have. Ooh, Mario Kart. Do some old school video games. Could have sworn. Oh yeah, Bubble Bobble. AVF. Swore I had it. There we go. Let's try Bubble Bobble. Bubble Bobble with the gates. Go straight through. Not Mr. Bean. Nintendo video game 8-bit pixel art. Let's try that. Oh, let's even try Bubble Bobble. All right. Well, the stream has gone on for 3 hours, so I think I'm going to, after this one, I'm going to cut it. Thanks everybody for coming out. Purz.xyz for all the links. Hit up the Patreon if you like what we do here, and support the channel. Come by the Discord and hang out there. And yeah, if you have questions, concerns, all that stuff, hit them up on the Discord, and somebody smart will be able to hit you up pretty quick in the help channel. So yeah, if you're having trouble, you need help, or you're just curious, you want to try some different workflows and stuff, they're all there. This has been really cool. Thanks for everybody hanging out. Everything is on Purz.xyz. So just, it's all at the very, very tippy top of Purz.xyz. I don't think I can actually type messages on X. Yeah, read only. I'm using a Restream for this. But yeah, it's just Purz.xyz. Links in the bottom right corner of the screen there. Purz.xyz. Yeah, this one's looking pretty cool. And if you like the masks, you want to try the masks out, I have a bunch of mask packs in the resources channel. You can download those and play with them. ControlNet masks. Oh, yeah, here we go. Yeah, that's pretty sick. So yeah, you'll get better results if you don't use LCM. You know, you let it cook longer, it'll work. But, you know, just for brevity's sake and for the sake of the stream, I'm just using LCM so that it's, you know, faster, that kind of stuff. But it's cool. Yeah, this one came out really good. So let's have a look at the interpolation, and then we'll all say good evening to each other. That's really cool. Yeah, but if you use the regular LC or non-LCM ControlNet, and you know, like use a regular sampler, your quality will look better on these than these LCM ones. So yeah, I don't think this is the sort of the final output. We just use this for iteration, and then you can do the final renders with the big guns. But yeah, awesome. Thank you everybody for hanging out. Really appreciate it. 3 hours is a long time to spend with me, and I appreciate it very much. Have a great night, and we'll see you all very, very soon.